It's almost like a morning ritual this summer. 335 turning the Medley Y heading out west. It is the calm before the storm of Tropical Storm Isaias, and we are starting the day off with some hurricane-themed rail fanning. This is the Florida East Coast Railway's Medley Y, the junction between the 5-mile Medley Lead and FEC's Hialeah Yard in Miami, Florida. Train 335 is empty rock from City Point near Cocoa Beach to Miami, Florida. As shown here, cars from New Smyrna Beach are also shuttled on this train. The 335 also carries intermodal land bridge for Port Miami, usually a load or two at the bottom of the train which will be set off momentarily. The train is slowing to make this drop. I would typically stay to document the set-off, but the Hialeah Yardmaster released this gem. The FEC downtown job, which normally leaves around 4 or 5 in the morning, instead leaving after daybreak, which is almost unheard of. Leading the train today is one of 2 specially painted GP40-2s for the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure, a non-profit organization devoted to fighting breast cancer. Some of this train's switching itinerary will be the focus of the video today.
So the train is currently entering the central industrial section. Hialeah traffic is annoying no matter what time of day it is, so really I couldn't beat this guy here. Anyhow, he's turning, the switch is a hand throw, so he's going to be going through at a very slow pace across Douglas Road here.
Welcome to FEC's Central Industrial Section, part of the classic Hialeah industrial scene. FEC's downtown job primarily works this region, an industrial park consisting of approximately 4 customers. Unfortunately, if you go back a couple decades, you will find out that the current state of the Central Industrial Section is a mere shell of its former self. Except to this day, there are a couple interesting scenes out here. You guys just cannot make this stuff up. Much of this part of the train is headed to Trujillo Sons, a familiar name for fans of the CSX downtown spur. Now here's a fun fact, all of the crossings in the CIS are radio controlled, like this one. Dialing the correct DTMF code will give out a radio readout, such as the deactivation one that you just heard. Trujillo Sons handles packaging and distribution of many food products such as vegetable oil, rice, beans, grits, etc. Ingredients for many Latin or Caribbean flavored foods go through this facility. Now, FEC wasn't the only railroad that served Trujillo. At one time, CSX had them on the downtown spur near Alapata, but unfortunately the facility shut down in 2015. Now it is the Rubel Museum, entertaining many guests with wonderful works of art for years to come. Thank you, gentrification. Now, in 2018, this Trujillo location underwent a significant expansion with plenty of new warehousing space and a second rail-served spur, and that is where the empties are coming from this morning. I would come to realize that the train backed up farther than it could have so that it could grab an empty oil tanker from the south track. And now the 4 boxcars are going to be spotted. It's possible perhaps that this move is explained by the final destination blocking of the empty cars. Trujillo, like several FEC customers, is served by both CSX and Norfolk Southern. I really cannot speak for you viewers, but I imagine by the end of this video either you will have the entire crossing readout memorized in your head, or you may have a craving for some rice and beans.
are you? You guys are running in daylight now. I know, and then like I got lucky because I heard 3:35 was there. So like I don't get it. Get good light. I'm taking advantage of it. So the train has finished working through Trujillo Sons and is moving on to its next major customer, Florida Bulk Transfer, on the westernmost of the 3 CIS spurs. This time the entire train comes in solid, so really the engine will not be visible from a public angle. So I make do with this single shot here at Northwest 74th Street.
Adam, switch, hard to throw. Thank you. One more, 435. Please. 45, cross and clear. Give me 20 throw. Clear 20.
Florida Bulk Transfer sits on a plot of land that used to once be an FEC piggyback loadout. But currently, and I believe it is still owned by NS, if not completely taken over by Savage Services, the facility handles various manifest commodities such as plastics, flour, corn syrup, and carbon dioxide.
Hand over that crossover, 425, another 20 throw. 20 more.
Now that the main show is over, it's time for the after party. Remember how I mentioned that the downtown job was 2 hours late? Well, pretty much so is everything on the railway this morning, including train 965, heading back engines light to Fort Lauderdale. Normally, this train shuttles empties from Fort Lauderdale to Miami that cannot fit on train 222 or 218.
In response to the coronavirus pandemic, FEC has done its best to cram all of its freight traffic for South Florida into 3 southbound and 3 northbound trains. However, as the shutdown sort of ended, trains have started to come back. On Thursdays, a train 105 runs south, and 109 and 210 have been partially reinstated. But now, on Fridays, they have been taken to running a northbound extra, train 240, leaving at whenever it's ready. But in this case, I was quite lucky that it was ready just as I was finished catching the downtown job. So from time to time I do watch trains crossing the New River Bridge on the beautiful New River webcam that is posted on YouTube, and I did notice that not a lot of the Miami Manifesto is moving. Well, lo and behold, pretty much all of it is on this train. Cars from CIS and Medley, as well as Commerce Park, make up much of the Manifest consist. And what does a crazy rail fan like myself do when I'm not that happy with the shot over at Iris? Chase it north. I mean, those familiar with operations on here know this kind of shot is not common, period. This is CP Sunrise near Northeast 13th Street in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Well, to be fair, the video could have been a little bit more stable, but the photo was good. And now, on our way back south, we decide instead to head out west. Out west is railroad jargon for towards Medley, as the Medley Lead heads northwestbound out of Hialeah. Given the backlog, the time that I would be back in Miami would lead me to see the FEC Medley Job, the 5 a.m. yard job. Remember that New River webcam that I mentioned earlier? A curiosity appeared in the form of LPG tankers, which I don't usually see on FEC, and turns out that AmeriGas, hidden behind Tropical Oil, which was featured in one of my previous Medley videos, has started receiving rail cars again. 2 of those cars are headed back empty on the Medley Job today.
Oh, paint roller.
Also, the infamous paint roller car is heading towards the yard, loaded with slag for paving. Recall that the FEC not only has a major rock presence on the Medley Lead, but also a pretty considerable carload presence. This is F. Garcia Wholesale and Export, one of several customers on the Medley Lead. and I was hoping to get switching here, but unfortunately it wouldn't happen today as the Medley Job completely bypassed it. These 4 tankers coming from Allied Chemical are going to be going on tonight's train 292 to Fort Pierce, ironically powered by that LNG set that is hanging out there to the left of the frame. Wait a second, was that really an LNG set sitting literally right behind the train? Behind him is a 12:30 a.m. yard job with 292's power heading back to Medley Yard. And this is where our Hurricane special of FEC rail fanning ends today. I would like to thank you guys for joining me, and if you haven't, please leave a like, comment, and perhaps subscribe to this channel. I'm already looking forward to the next trip out to share some more interesting content with you all. From Medley, Florida, this is TE out.